Sheriff Mickey Stines was literally caught on camera committing the alleged crime. This is direct evidence. This is not a circumstantial case. This is direct evidence of what he's accused of doing. It is caught on video. So what is the sheriff's defense? I am going to break it all down because his attorney is speaking, but I think it goes beyond what the attorney is saying. The truth may lie a little deeper in what this trial will ultimately look like. I'm Vinnie Politan. I'm a former prosecutor. For those of you who don't know, I am the lead anchor for Court TV, the network that takes you inside the courtroom day in and day out. We've been doing it since, 1991. Anyway, great to have everyone aboard for this live stream. I'm Vinnie Politan. Welcome to Vinnie Live.
Hey, get ready, get set. Let's go!
It's true crime, streaming live, worldwide. It's Vinnie Live. It's true crime, streaming live, worldwide. It's Vinnie Live. Get ready. So post inside the chat. Get ready for the prosecutor hat. Get set to like and to subscribe. Let's go. It's time for Vinnie Live.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Welcome to the live stream. And we are everywhere today. This is another one of our special simulcasts. We are streaming live on my YouTube channel, on the huge Court TV YouTube channel, also on Facebook, X, and Twitch. Thank you for joining me today. And the big question today is, what is the sheriff's defense? Like, does he even have one? Yeah, he has one. It'll play out inside a courtroom at a trial when it happens. You will see it on Court TV, of course. Thank you for joining us, me, and the community. We've got a team of great moderators, Gen X, Frankie Figs, and Jennifer Sube doing their job. We've got the Court TV crew doing their job in there as well. So great to see everyone today. So I could break this down a couple different ways. I've got the video for you. I could break down the video for you first, then take a look at what the defense may be. I think that may be a good way to go. There's also some new information from some new reporting out of Kentucky that could turn this thing upside down. So I've got a lot to get to, and I don't have a lot of time to do it because I have a show on Court TV, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, closing arguments with Vinnie Politan, then 9 to 10, Vinnie Politan investigates. So I've got to get to the studio to do all that tonight, beginning at 8. So I've got a window of time here. I'm going to say what I need to say, and then I'm going to get to your questions, your comments, your theories, your reaction to everything else that is happening. So thank you for coming aboard today on this Thursday where we are live. Okay, so let's get to the video first. I think it's important to get to the video because the video we've obtained at Court TV is different than the video that we saw in the preliminary probable cause hearing, because that was shot in such a way that it wasn't so clear. The video now is much clearer, as you can see from this still shot that you're looking at here. So let's do the video breakdown. Now, you're not going to see like the moment. There'll be freezing of the video. There will be blurring of the video. So it's appropriate for YouTube. And it's appropriate for anyone to see. Hold on a second, folks. I'm going to do a quick early check on my blood sugar. Oh, all right. Blood sugar's diving. Type 1 diabetic, so I'm going to have a little glucose right now. Yikes. Hate when this happens right when I start either a live television show or a live stream, but I've got to handle it. It's like fire water, but it gets the job done. I'm going to do a double shot. I'm going to do a double shot to make sure I can last the hour. Okay. I've got a backup over here. I got some mango juice. But I'm definitely trending down, not trending up on the blood sugar, which is not great. But I'll be okay. All right. Let's get to it. Let's get to the video. Let's get right to it. Here we go. Okay. And that's when the shots are fired. Let me back it up just a little bit. Let's just back it up a little bit. A couple things when you break down the video. First of all, we're in the chambers. This is not a luxurious chamber. You can see cinder block behind the judge, right? Judge has his robe on. Like, think about this. The judge is literally wearing his robe. Now, my father was a federal judge. I was a prosecutor. I've met with judges. Sometimes they have their robe on in chambers. A lot of the time, they don't. They just wear the robe when they leave chambers and go on to the bench for an official proceeding. So that's kind of interesting that the robe is on at this moment. That could tell us a little bit about the timeline. Also, judge is smoking a cigarette and apparently drinking maybe some coffee. I don't know. So he seems that he's comfortable and relaxed for this private meeting that he's having with the sheriff. Now, what you have to understand is at this moment, the sheriff is standing up. From all the testimony and what we understand from what's happening before that is that he's seated in this chair. And let me just get rid of myself for a second. And you can see the two chairs there, okay? So he was in one of those chairs, stands up, and in his right hand right at this moment, the judge can see as he's looking, the judge does have his weapon in his hand. So I see what the judge is doing here, but let's continue to watch everything that happens here. And right here, the shots are being fired. This is like one frame before the first shot is fired, and you can see the judge trying to get away, trying to shield himself, trying to protect himself at this moment, but obviously not successfully. So the video exists. The video exists. Again, remember what I'm talking about here is what is the sheriff's defense to all of this? What could his defense possibly be if this is what's happening right now? So let's continue. Okay. Now, the judge is down, but the judge is still moving. And you can see, once again, the judge is moving, but sees what's happening. And again, there goes Mickey Stines getting closer, 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 and finally firing shots once again. Then he comes back around, is about to leave, but notices what's happening under the desk. The judge trying to go for cover, head for cover once again. And if you look under the desk, you won't see it because we've blurred it out, YouTube. We've blurred it out. But the judge, again, crawling under the desk moves, trying to shield and protect himself. But before he leaves, and he opened the door like he was going to leave, but then he stops. And once again, shots are fired. The judge is visible under the desk at this moment. So the sheriff really has to get down and crouch to once again go after the judge. To me, it's so sad, but it's crazy if you think about it. It's absolutely crazy if you think about it because he's the sheriff. He's actually the sheriff. He knows that there's a camera there. Why does he know there's a camera there? The camera is there because of what one of his deputies did inside the judge's chambers, which was SA, a female inmate who was on like a monitor program. That deputy was fired by this sheriff, but the sheriff was being sued for what the deputy had done, and the deputy apparently pleaded guilty to what he did in the chambers. And that's why the camera is there. There's no audio, but there's a camera. And initially it was there to deter the criminal conduct that had been taking place there. So the sheriff knows that. Like, he's in charge of security in the building, for goodness sake. And there he goes. So that's one thing that I wanted to get into. But there's some other things in this video that are important, and things that you'll notice from the videos you watch it. Now let's back this up, right? Let's back this up. What do we know? What did the testimony talk about in this case? By the way, we're over 4,000 live viewers right now already, right out of the box. Thank you, everyone, for watching. The phone, the judge's phone. The sheriff called his daughter from his phone and then got the sheriff's phone. Or no, I'm sorry. The sheriff called his daughter, his teenage daughter, from his phone, then got the judge's phone, called his daughter from the judge's phone, and then the phone is on the table. So let me show you what happens now. So again, this is the initial confrontation. But if you look in the bottom part of the screen here, I've zoomed in on the desk on the left-hand side. If you look to the left of the picture-in-picture that I have here, the zoom in, you see the bag, the backpack. But look to the left of that, all the way to the left, and you can see a cell phone on the desk. Okay? That phone is going to ring after the sheriff's second set of shots. Okay? Keep your eye on the phone. Keep your eye on the little screen. Because once again, goes around, goes around, goes around. We freeze it. YouTube are freezing it. But now look, as he starts to go around, now someone is calling the phone. Someone is calling the phone. Let me go back to that so you can see it. You can see the phone is now lit up. Okay, why is that important? Is his daughter calling him back? Did he leave a message? Is someone trying to find out why a call was made? What exactly is going on? Like, we don't have these pieces of information yet. This is the information that will be extremely relevant to the sheriff's defense. I believe it's a lot of it is focused on the phone, right? Because he makes the call just before he does what he does here. But did he get through? Did the conversation end and then someone's trying to get back to him? Is someone trying to clarify something? Did the sheriff leave a message that was troubling, that someone's returning the call to the judge's phone? Why? Now is the daughter calling back? Is someone else calling back? Is someone worried? Is it someone from outside who hears yelling or heard shots making a call? Is everything okay in there? Like, what exactly is going on? Who is making that call? It's important. What is it related to? All I know is that it's significant. And remember what this case is about. I've been saying it from the beginning. It's all about his state of mind. It's all about the sheriff's state of mind. You know, there's other things on the desk, obviously. To me, the phone is the most important, but you've got the backpack. Whose backpack is it? Is this the sheriff's? Did he leave it behind? What is in it? Is there evidence of whatever may have set off the sheriff in this case? What's in there? Whose is it? Is it completely unconnected or unrelated to anything, or is it connected to whatever is going on between the sheriff and the judge? Because there's actually 2 backpacks that are on the desk. There's the brown one, there's the black one. The black one's closer to where the sheriff was sitting down. The brown one is closer to the judge. But is it related? Is it connected? Don't know. We don't know. But to me, that's where more evidence in this case could potentially come from. A lot of papers on the desk. Can't make out what they are. Were they talking about it? Because we don't have the video. Like, it exists. Everything leading up to this moment right here is on video. Prosecutors purposely chose not to make it public at the probable cause preliminary hearing. They purposely kept it from the defense being able to ask questions about it, and they kept it from the public being able to see it. Prosecutors were very narrowly laser focused, minimal information that they wanted to give to the defense at this point and make public. But at this moment, you just look at the body language between the two. I'm looking at the sheriff's eyes. It looks like he is absolutely staring at the weapon. Someone has a weapon. He's like putting his hands up like, look, come on, come on. Come on, Mickey. Come on, Mickey. We know each other. We can work this out. Whatever it is. There's a level of absolute concern here by the judge, but not absolute panic. And here's another point here when you talk about a judge's chambers. And apparently it wasn't the case here. Federal judges, like my father was, he had a button by his desk. Press that button, the marshals were there. Fast. Absolutely fast. I don't know if he has that button. The cinder block, the mess, I'm guessing that maybe it's not. I mean, I don't even think they had metal detectors at this courthouse until this happened. So I don't think it was equipped that way, but a lot of chambers are equipped that way. Or judges, there's trouble. They hit a button. They have the same button up on the bench. That there's an onslaught, like that's the alarm that goes off, and then boom, armed guards come in. Could you imagine if they had that in this situation? You have a bunch of armed deputies coming to deal with the sheriff. That would have been a strange situation, but it didn't happen. He didn't have that protection, but he also had that level of comfort that whatever is going on between the two of them, that he felt, okay, I can sit down privately with the sheriff and discuss this thing that came up at lunchtime where I said, let's have a private meeting. When I said that means the judge. The judge called this meeting. So the judge had a level of comfort with Mickey and whatever the situation was. So now let me get to the big deal. The big deal. I'll put this up. Switch gears a little bit here. This is the sheriff's lawyer's statement, made it to People magazine. So what was the sheriff's defense? It was not something that was planned and occurred in the heat of passion. Heat of passion, magical words in the law. That takes a first degree premeditated down to manslaughter. Jeremy Bartley tells people, for us, the highest level of culpability should be manslaughter based on the partial defense of extreme emotional disturbance. I've gone through this. Check out my prior video in detail. Went through the extreme emotional disturbance element of manslaughter that takes the first degree, the most serious, facing the deep end, and brings it down to 10 to 20, which is still serious time. You got to do 85% of it. But it's much different than going to the row. It's much, much different. So that's kind of where he's leaning, right? This wasn't planned. So when we say it wasn't planned, and we're looking at the way things broke down inside the room, our understanding is they're sitting down having the meeting, and then he has the phone, he makes the call, puts the phone down, and then stands up. So is it something connected to that phone call, right? Is it connected to that phone call? It keeps coming back to the phone, the phone, the phone, the phone. So there's more to the statement. This is the part I found a little troubling, a little puzzling. Again, this is the attorney speaking to People magazine. We believe, it's he and his wife are the defense team, and successful attorneys from my understanding out there. We believe there had to be a compelling reason for Sheriff Stines to feel like he had to take action. We are looking forward to obtaining additional information and begin to tell the story. Okay, they're obtaining additional information. Where are they obtaining this from? Because we're trying to figure out the compelling reason, right? The compelling reason. Well, who knows the reason? Think about who knows the Sheriff Stines knows the reason. So I don't know what they're looking to obtaining this additional information. Unless. Now we know what everyone's thinking about in this case, right? From the beginning, it was sheriff's got a teenage daughter. He's calling the daughter from the sheriff's phone, from the judge's phone. The sheriff's calling his daughter from the judge's phone. Then we had the preliminary hearing, and we had some testimony that was somewhat vague, but seemed to be clear on cross-examination that the daughter's number was already in the judge's phone. And the way you would interpret that without further clarification, if you're a person like me, is, oh, the number I have your number in my phone. Your number's in my phone, meaning you're in my contacts. Like your number is in my contacts. That's what I would describe as like the number's already in the phone. So that's sort of the way the testimony came out. And we're going to dive into this. We'll play everything for you tonight at 8:00. But that's the way it came out during the preliminary. So if the daughter's number is already in the judge's phone, that's like, there's no reason for a grown man to have the sheriff's teenage daughter's phone number in his contacts. That's creepy. There's something wrong here. And that's what all the rumors were. And that's what the testimony seemed to be. Now we've got local reporting from the Mountain Eagle. 2 law enforcement sources have confirmed that former Sheriff Shawn "Mickey" Stines did not select his daughter's number from a pre-saved list on District Judge Kevin Mullins' phone when he called her just prior to the judge. Both say Stines dialed the number before Mullins multiple times in the judge's chambers behind the Letcher District Courtroom. That's huge. Complete game changer. Complete game changer. All of a sudden, we're not where we thought we were. The number's not in a pre-saved list on the judge's phone. This is like, woo, 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 woo. Changes everything. Think about this now. It raises more questions. Why did the sheriff need to use the judge's phone? He's got his own phone. If he calls her from his phone, why is he calling from the judge's phone? Is his daughter just not picking up? And would the daughter pick up if the call was coming from another line? Is that what's going on? Weird. Did he make contact with her? We don't know. Did he leave a message? We don't know. Who was calling back just moments later, seconds later? We don't know. But those questions are important. Now, let me go back. I want to weave this together. We are looking forward to obtaining additional information to begin to tell his story. All right. You want to take them at their word that they're trying to get more information. So what information would they be getting? What information would they be getting that the sheriff could not provide himself? He's the one who really knows, right? But if you don't have all the information from the sheriff, why would that be? Why would you need something in addition to just speaking with your client? To me, that logically leads to one place. Mental illness. Mental illness. Lawyers will tell you, you have clients that, you can't base your case upon what your client is telling you because they're off the beaten path a little bit. They're not mentally healthy. They may be in some state of paranoia, some state of delusional thinking. They're not themselves. So the additional information could be relative to the state of mind of the sheriff himself, to try to understand what the compelling reason would be in his mind. In his mind. That's one road that it's taken me down here. Don't forget his statement. They are trying to kidnap my wife and my kid. Now, there's been some discrepancy if they said kidnap or take or kidnap. Either way, there's something else at play here. Like, what's at play in all of this? Seems like there could be a whole separate factual scenario that leads up to this moment that could lead to this defense. Now, mental disease and defect, you don't know right from wrong. Well, let me play this out. If you feel like you are saving someone from evildoers, then you believe what you are doing is right. Right? You believe what you're doing is right. His next step was he turned himself in immediately. There was no cover up. This is out in the open. It's on video. He knows it's on video. So it could play two ways. It could play complete mental disease defect defense. Having a hard time with his state of mind, discerning right from wrong because of what he believed was happening here. That would require additional information to tell his story. The additional information, what else is going on in his life? Is he seeing anyone? Were there other episodes? Otherwise, if it's just like, something to do with the daughter or whatever, the sheriff could tell him in a minute and a half. And he would know what the compelling reason was. That's what I'm thinking about right now. That's where I am on this. Now, the backup is that something happened that just set him off at the moment, heat of passion. But it's sort of a mixed message here because heat of passion, it would seem the sheriff would be able to provide the information for that heat of passion moment. What the sheriff can't provide, where you would need additional information, would be about the mental state of your client and anything else that he had done or things that he had said to other people. And we know there was this text chain involving people in his office who were talking to each other. And I don't know if the sheriff was in it or out of it, but that seems like that may be connected to all of this. So is it state of mind? Is this guy having a breakdown? Is that what we're talking about here? They're trying to take my family. They're trying to kidnap my family. So what I would be aware, so to answer the question, what is the sheriff's defense? It's either going to be something less than the top count, the MS, the slaughter, the manslaughter, because of the extreme emotional disturbance based upon this unknown why, or complete breakdown of the sheriff's mental capacity, and we could have an insanity defense. Right now, those are the two options. It's not clear from the defense where they're going, and they may not want to make it public. So that is my analysis of where we are right now in a case where you have direct evidence, which is the video of the actual crime or alleged crime. You've got the video. All right. I did pretty good. 30 minutes. Going to get into some of your comments and questions, get your reaction to this, to the video. Let's see. All right. You got some folks talking about Gen X talking about Sarah Boone. Can't believe Boone turned down that plea. She's delusional, thinking she can get off. Yeah. Well, we'll see. It all begins on Monday. I think everything's okay in Orlando to go forward. I think the courthouse will be open on Monday for that. All right. And don't forget, we are streaming on my YouTube channel, Court TV's YouTube channel. So make sure you are liking the video and make sure that you are subscribing either to my channel if you're coming over from Court TV, or Court TV if you're coming over from my channel. And over at Court TV, they offer some great membership options, which gives you even more exclusive content. So make sure you check that out as well. All right. We're also on X, and we are on Facebook as well. All right. Looks like we got some Grizzlies here today. Great to see the Grizzlies aboard. All right. I see a lot of hellos, Okay, Tiffany. I am just so nosy to find out what was going on in this small town. Oh, it's beyond nosy. I think you're curious about what would cause the undermining of our system of justice here. Because remember, a courthouse needs to be a safe place, right? Who's in charge of safety at the courthouse? It's the sheriff. So when the sheriff himself undermines the safety of the courthouse and takes out a public official, not only is it about being nosy, it's about, well, why did this happen? Why did this happen? And could it have been prevented? Those are the two questions you ask. And will he be held responsible? What would drive someone to do this? And is this something we need to be concerned about in other places? Like what was this? And it's a fair question. I think it's more than being nosy. I think it's being true crime curious. All right. Gen X reminding us this is a simulcast with Court TV today. All right. Let's see. We've got some hellos. Zep loves the intro. Thank you, Zep. As you know, I go back in time. So I'm a half hour right now behind in the comments. So if you commented a half hour ago, it might pop up on the screen. Okay. California Girl 818. Hey, Vinny, did you hear about Scott Peterson? I'd like to see you talk about it. We'll do a Scott Peterson one. And I did hear about it. I mean, you're going to hear about it forever because he has, some level of, he's high profile. It was a circumstantial case. There are some true believers out there in Scott Peterson. Why, I don't know. But everything that I'm hearing is everything that I heard years ago when I was in Modesto for the preliminary hearing and when I was in Redwood City for the trial. The evidence is no different. The defense chose not to use any of that evidence because it was silly. And I think it still is silly. Just like the owls in the staircase are silly. Everything becomes much more viable decades later. Like we didn't know about it back in the day. Everything that Peterson's talking about, he knew about, his attorneys knew about. If I knew about it, they knew about it, right? That's number one. Same thing with Peterson in the staircase. Everybody knew about the owl during the trial. It wasn't a secret, and everybody laughed. So those are my initial thoughts. Obviously, if I do a video, I'll do a much deeper dive, and I give everybody a fair shake. All right, let's get deeper into this. PJ Durkin, Vinnie Barbarino. Anyone know who that is? Yes, of course. It's Vinnie Barbarino from Welcome Back, Kotter. Of course. Of course we know that. That is like a prerequisite. For being here on this. All right. Taryn Dusty is asking, is the judge smoking? Yes. That gives you an idea. This is a different courthouse. I mean, there were no metal detectors. The judge is smoking in chambers. It's just, it's almost like going back in time. You know, it's small town, but it's geographic travel to a small town, but it's also like going back in time and almost to a time of innocence, right? Where we didn't need metal detectors at the courthouse because everyone knows it's a safe place. Nobody's going to show up and cause any ruckus at the courthouse. But it did happen. And yeah, he's also smoking in chambers. Mm-hmm. Oh,
It's time for us to smile. It's time to get up.
smoking in the judge's room.
It's time to get funky. It's time for us to smile. 'Cause here comes McSpunky.
McSpunky with a good, that would be a good song. Maybe we'll do that as a cover, Smoking in the Judge's Room. That was, what was the name of the group? The something gang or crew. Brownsville Station, Smoking in the Boys' Room. Then it was remade years later. That's the one you kids will know. Great to see you, McSpunky. Thanks for joining us today. Court TV in the house. Oh, there we go. Here we go. DNA. I don't know what that means, but it's probably important if it's being posted by Court TV. Yep. Adam drives Helen. When you're the only judge in town, I think you smoke wherever you want, right? What's going to happen? Nobody's going to say anything. No, I don't know if they actually had rules. I don't know what the law is in Kentucky. You know, some towns, sometimes it's driven by. There might be a policy that government offices. There could be a policy within a city about smoking, but I'm not sure. But yeah, yeah. What are they going to do? And Lori Lyles on Facebook today makes me sick how he keeps shooting. And this is the tragic part. I don't know if he would have survived without that third round. But the fact that he kept moving and trying to, you know, it's a natural instinct to try to get to a place where you have some cover, which would be under the desk. But if he had lied motionless, would he have survived? I don't know. But that's why this is such a difficult case. And we ask, what is the sheriff's defense? Because his intent was clear from the video. It's not like, you know, once and it's like, oh my goodness, what did I do? No, it's like, boom, boom, boom. Now let me get closer. Boom, boom, boom. Now I'm leaving. Oh, you're still alive? Boom, boom, boom. So that's problematic. Yes. And Tennille Brown points out something that we were talking about on the Sheriff's Family GoFundMe. This is the sheriff's wife's sister-in-law said that if you're going to donate to the GoFundMe to support Sheriff Mickey Stines, don't do so under the presumption that there was something going on between the judge and the daughter. They are absolutely denying that and saying that's not the case. So again, that leads us somewhere else in all of this. And that's the part that has not been revealed yet in any of this. We're over 5,500, folks. 5,500 at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. I think some interesting comments here. And this one I wanted to put up from Red Rum Massacre Theater. Don't give cash till you know what happened, right? So the family is raising money. Now, is the money going to help the defense of the sheriff, or is the money going to help the family that's left behind? I'm not sure. And I don't think it's clear. So I think there are people supporting him. Now, you have to remember, wildly popular in Letcher County was this sheriff. All right, the local sheriff it's like Andy Griffith, right? It's like you're like a local celebrity, really, when you're the sheriff. It's a big deal in a rural community where you don't necessarily have a lot of police departments and precincts and this and that. Like the sheriff is the one, right? They're sort of revered, and it's a big deal. He was making $115,000, which is good money. It's good money, government job in Kentucky. That's good money. But it's also a level of prestige and importance, significance. And he was popular, gets elected, but he's a popular guy because he was doing the right things. Now, a couple of things that I've uncovered during my show at night, from a local attorney who was representing the plaintiff who was suing the sheriff and had deposed the sheriff. He said the way the sheriff appeared in that deposition was as he was during his arraignment, which was ask questions and not responding. Like it seemed like, I don't know what you thought when you saw it, but I saw a sense of distance that the sheriff seemed to have from the situation, and a difficulty in processing the questions. And that's what Ned at Pillersdorf, who's the attorney, his firm suing the judge for the case suing the sheriff for the, I keep confusing those, out of the case out of the judge's chambers. And he also said that he had seemingly lost significant weight in the last 3 months or so. Again, I'm coming back to the mental. And I also come back to the mental aspect because of what he said. Imagine this. If someone, a stranger, burst into the judge's chambers, did what the sheriff did, and then said, they're trying to kidnap my wife and my kid. People would say, oh, you've got some, conspiracy circling around in your head. This person is, not all there. So if we would think that about a stranger, is it that much of a stretch to think of that relative to the sheriff, that he could be going through some sort of a mental break, some level of paranoia, or he's putting things together in a way that don't necessarily make sense to everyone else, but make sense to him as to what was going on. So is the weight loss connected? Like if someone's going through a mental break, would they, maybe forget to eat or stop eating or lose appetite or whatever it is that sort of changes their mentally they're changing, and then it has a physical manifestation to it. I think it's all possible. I think it's all very possible. And that's why I would not be shocked if that's where the defense ends up. Because right now, I think where we are with the defense is reducing it to the lower level of MS. And Ms. Spunky, hoping all you mods and chatters are well. We are, sir. We absolutely are. Mouthy Mama with an important question. Who is calling? Who was making that call? Was it the daughter calling back? Was someone responding to a message? Were they calling back after a conversation? To me, all of that is significant because it takes us potentially inside the mind of the sheriff. And that could be some of the additional information that you need. Because remember, the video has no audio. So if he's seen on the video and he's talking, well, what exactly was he saying? The judge can't tell us, but someone who might have been on the other end of the phone could potentially tell the defense. And Court TV has a new member, Cheryl Locke. Welcome, Cheryl. New member. There's a lot of unverified rumors in this case. And it seems the family is pushing back on the first and largest rumor, right? Jay Londo has a great point here. Jay Londo YTP, did the 4 previous visitors leave their backpacks and expected to return after the judge and sheriff missed their meeting? Could have been. And that could also explain why the judge has his robe on. Again, this timeline is murky because it's we see the clock in the video. It's 3:00. It's just before 3:00 when this is happening. They had lunch together, but my guess is they're not having lunch at 2:30 or 2:45 and then coming back to chambers. I think there was time in between lunch and chambers here. And I have heard, like you have, Jay Londo, that there was a meeting in the judge's chambers, and that could explain the backpacks and the papers. It could also explain how quickly everyone exited and could have explained maybe the temperature or the tone of the sheriff as this meeting was beginning. That maybe there was an intensity to it, so everyone was like, all right, let's just get out of here. And they left everything behind, which could be completely unrelated to any of this. Thank you, Jay Londo. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, this is my challenge to always catch up in time. Still a half hour behind. Brooklyn Janet, YouTube member. Don't forget different levels of membership. If you go all the way up to that judge level, the honorable judge, there's some things you're going to want. By the way, over 6,000 live viewers right now. Thank you, everyone. Streaming YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and X. And Mary pointing out, no, Vinny, these small towns don't have those buttons. I was talking about those emergency buttons that a judge would have on the bench and that a judge would have in his or her chambers to alert the deputies or alert the federal marshals to come to chambers with guns drawn immediately. That does not exist there. My guess is she works in a small town. All right. Our friend Robert. Vinny, we need closing arguments. And Vinnie Politan investigates blockbuster interview with People Magazine chief reporter in the 8 p.m. hour tonight. We will attempt to get that for you. We've reached out to the local reporters in Kentucky, and they're a little hesitant to be on television. Emma, Vinny, you're the best. Thank you for educating us and always doing your best to show both sides of all cases and crimes with lots of hearts. Thank you, Emma. And Emma, I'm trying to figure out the picture. I gotta get a little. Let me get a little closer. I like the picture. I just can't make out what's going on top. If that's like a Anyway, I'll take a closer look off the air. Thank you, Emma. Awesome. Mm-hmm. TS man 74 only takes 1 second to decide for first degree. Maybe not. Well, premeditation can be like that. It's just a moment. It's a beat to a moment to think. However, when you talk about heat of passion and extreme emotional disturbance, it puts someone into a state of mind. So you're looking at the moment. You can decide in a moment to do what you're going to do. But if in that moment you are suffering from the extreme emotional disturbance, then it's not first degree. You following that? This is subtle. This is very subtle part of the law. Premeditation like that. You make the decision. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to my holster. I'm going to get my nug and I'm going to point it and I'm going to aim it and boom. All right. That could be enough for the premeditation. However, if at the moment that you're doing all of that, you are suffering from the extreme emotional disturbance, that now mitigates that. And now they're tossing heads and it'll be up to the jury to decide. But the judge will instruct that if you believe at the moment this is happening, the defendant is suffering from an extreme emotional disturbance that is reasonable from his perspective, then it gets knocked down. And if we go all the way to legal insanity, which is you can't really distinguish between right and wrong, that's a whole different thing. Like if what you can have all the premeditation in the world, but if you can't tell, if you think what you're doing is the right thing to do, then you could be found NGRI, not guilty by reason of insanity. So you are correct, but there is a caveat under these circumstances. All right. And Elizabeth Stoddard, another new YouTube member. Fantastic. Welcome. I mean, got dressed for the occasion, right? For your YouTube membership. Put on your best. Brooklyn Janet. It seems premeditated. Sheriff was going to decide if he didn't like what he saw on a phone, was to be based on what the sheriff saw. So what Janet is saying is that it was on his mind as he calls or as he enters for this private meeting. The only thing that's a little interesting about the meeting is that from the testimony, it seems that it was the judge's idea to have the meeting. But put that aside. Going into this meeting and having this discussion, he has something on his mind that he needs to verify. And my goodness, if this is true, what I suspect, then I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Yes, that's premeditated. Absolutely. But again, if it's all happening under this reasonable, extreme emotional disturbance, reasonable in his mind, based upon what he believes, then it wouldn't be the first degree. Again, it'll be up to the jury to make that distinguish that, but they'll have that option. Michelle L., maybe defense is looking to corroborate the veracity of what the sheriff is saying or what he had reason to believe regarding the alleged kidnapping. Okay, well, that's all the way. That is all the way in, which is where we could be. Like, is there some plot or plan for this kidnapping? Here's my only pushback on why I don't necessarily am buying all into an actual kidnapping plot. I believe it's something that's being interpreted as kidnapping, but may not actually be kidnapping, is because he says they. And if it's they, who else is it? And why is he not going after that person? Why is it just the judge? Which again, if you get inside the mind of someone who's a little off, nothing's going to make sense. You can't make sense of it. But if if the sheriff is of sound mind, and if there's an actual plot to take his family, wouldn't they still be in danger if it's a they? Wouldn't they still be in danger? But that could be part of the investigation. If you believe, if the sheriff was able to tell you something and you sat down and listened to the sheriff explain about this kidnapping plot and what he uncovered, and you're like, oh, wow. All right, let's go corroborate this. Let's go based upon what our client is telling us, which you likely would have an ethical obligation to do anyway. Great comment, Michelle L., as always. Crime with La Boricua coming to us from the PR and is now a YouTube member. Congratulations. Will you be having a celebration for this? You should. Crime with La Boricua. Ashley Bouchard. Hi, Vinny. Not too much to say today. Just hi. You can just stop by to say hi. You can just stop by to say hi. All right. If you're looking on where to find me, by the way, to subscribe, great job by Gen X. I got to find that. Where is that? 1 second. Wait for it. All right. There we go. You can subscribe to me right here on YouTube. Vinnie Politan 1 is the key, because there's only one Vinnie Politan. Well, there's actually two, because my son, but he spells it differently. All right. And Disastrous Neat, now a YouTube member. All right. The numbers are growing, which is great to see. Great to see. Lemon Trees on Mercury, stopping by to say hi. Hello, Lemon Trees. All right. Ooh. Allie Stews, Minnie. We need some help from you down here in Mississippi. There's a case that's really extremely disturbing about a young nursing student who was red rummed. All right. Minnie, get the 411 over to Gen X. Get the 411 to Gen X. We'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at it. We love our nurses. Covered the case out of Maryland, that nurse. They're still looking for her, but her husband has been arrested. Prince Lover, Al guy is free, right? Yeah, he did an Alford plea after 20 years and he's free. Correct. The Al guy. That's awesome. Colleen Loves Crochet, YouTube member. Congratulations. And one of the nurses that we love, Nurse Valentine, YouTube member. Awesome. Thank you. And Laura Wagner with a late, not late, but John Travolta talking about who is Vinnie Barbarino. Correctamundo. All right, Julie has reached the conclusion he had no defense. He has no defense. Well, everyone ends up with a defense, whether it's a viable defense or a successful defense or two other questions, but everyone has a defense at some point. The sheriff had the nug, the judge didn't, right? So self-defense is not part of this case. That would be justifiable homicide. That's not the case here. Sheriff followed the judge, hunted him down. Sheriff is guilty. We saw it all. And the question could be, is it guilty of MS or of the top charge? And will they be seeking the ultimate punishment in this because of the taking of the life of a public official? So great comment, Julie. Thank you so much. All right. Kimberly reminding me, don't forget to put on your prosecutor's hat if you become the prosecutor. And yes, there it is right there. From time to time, I'll throw it on if I start, questioning a witness or making a opening statement or a closing argument. All right. Wow. Now I'm only 20 minutes behind, so I'm getting there. All right. We've got another Bracken Hayes is now a member as well. Fantastic. Emily Wilson, how did you take of your blood sugar when you were a prosecutor? Wouldn't the sheriff still have been allowed to have his nug? Okay. Blood sugar as a prosecutor. I wasn't a prosecutor. I got it late. I didn't get it as a child. I didn't have it until I was an adult. I was already on television. I was working at Court TV. I had just started at Court TV, and within the first, 3 weeks of working there, I was diagnosed. And no, not first 3 weeks. First 3 months of working there, I got diagnosed, and it was a bit of a challenge because I was on the road working as a correspondent. So I'm flying all over the country. And I'm learning to deal with diabetes. I didn't have a pump. I didn't have a continuous glucometer. I was doing it the old-fashioned way. I only had one incident on the air. It was during the Rabbi Fred Newlander trial. I was doing a live hit. I started talking. My blood sugar was going low, and I just started talking, and I had no idea what I was saying and what I was talking about. And I just told the anchor back in New York, I've got to go. And then I got something to drink and something to eat. From that day forward, there were people bringing me stuff at the courthouse every day. People are so unbelievably wonderful. But that was back years ago, 2001. That was the fall of 2001, the rabbi trial in New Jersey. All right, so that answers that question. Wouldn't the sheriff still have been allowed to have his nug? Yeah, of course. The sheriff's office is in the same building. It's up on the second floor. So the sheriff's office is on the second. He works on the second floor. And a sheriff is a sheriff 24/7. So my guess is he always has his weapon with him. Thank you, Emily. Janice, YouTube member, welcome. Congratulations. Okay, teenage daughter, Mary Peplau. I was curious to the age of the daughter, but at the beginning that you stated teenage daughter. Yeah, I believe she's 17 now. 16, 17. I went through the law on one of the other streams, but I'll go through it again. The age of consent in Kentucky is 16, the age of consent. However, if it is with someone who is more than 10 years your senior, that is not the age of consent. It then becomes a crime. So if you're 16 or 17 and someone is more than 10 years older than you, you are still a minor. That is illegal conduct. Thank you, Mary. Susan Bach, YouTube member. All right. Ooh, great question. Life of Mads. Who really has more power, a sheriff or a judge? Politically, I would say politically, a sheriff has more power, immediate power, but ultimately, a judge can shut everything down. One of the most powerful people in our entire system is a federal district court judge, can shut things down. A local district judge like this, I would say less power than the sheriff. I would say in this relationship, like in a courtroom, obviously, judge is in charge. But I think in this jurisdiction, with this level of judge, I think the sheriff is. I think personally, the sheriff is more powerful and can have more direct impact as the arm of the law that is in contact with people daily, right? Okay. When I say MS, Mary Kay Cox, I have MS doesn't make you unalive people. No. MS is short for the charge that is under first degree. We're always careful with the language, and sometimes things will get confused like this because of YouTube. There's things I can say on TV that I can't say on YouTube. I'll whisper it one time very quickly. Manslaughter. There it is. Okay. So that's what I refer to as MS, because YouTube will take this and make sure no one ever sees it. They have that. They have more power than me. YouTube does, and in the shower. So sorry for the confusion. That's my fault. This is great from Judy DeGuire. Maybe he had a new medication, depression. So that could be additional information, right? That could be additional information. What medicine was he taking? What can that medicine do? What impact does it have? What effect does it have? What does it treat? Why is he taking it? How much does he have in his system? All those things. All right, Michelle E. How can two lives be on at the same time? It's called magic. No. Basically, I don't know, because we can. If it's a technical question or whatever, but it's a simulcast. So we're on Court TV's YouTube and my YouTube at the same time. So nobody misses it. All right, let me see, how close am I? I'm still 20 minutes behind. I got to catch up here. Hidden Valley Off-Road, UTV and ATV. What if there's something inappropriate between the judge and sheriff's daughter, and when he called from the judge's phone, she either answered with a pet name or he saw a pet name on the screen? Right, and that's where all the rumors were going down. It's been disavowed by the sheriff's wife's sister-in-law on a GoFundMe page. And I will show you this one more time. What the local reporting is. The local reporting is that two law enforcement sources have confirmed that former Sheriff Shawn "Mickey" Stines did not select his daughter's number from a pre-saved list on District Judge Kevin Mullins' phone when he called her. Now, could it still be in there? I mean, again, we're parsing words here. Like it couldn't be more unclear from the prelim, but clarified by the folks doing great work over at the Mountain Eagle. Both say Stines dialed the number before he shot Mullins multiple times. So while the rumors exist and it would make some sense, how does that then fit with they're trying to kidnap? It doesn't fit with the kidnap. It just doesn't, from my perspective. I don't know. I can't make it fit. If someone can make that fit with the kidnapping statement, please post it. And so I'd be interested. I haven't been able to make that fit. But thank you, Hidden Off-Road ATV. And Samantha Stanley, another new member. And David Wyatt, another new member. Bonita Blessing. Thank you for the blessing, Bonita. Great to see you. All right, what do we have? You think the sheriff was on drugs, like maybe prescription drugs? Possible. Jennifer Sube, one of our mods. Let's go. Gen X is putting down the hammer. You got to be kind. You can disagree without being disagreeable. Think about my entire career, in a courtroom. You're disagreeing sometimes with the judge, sometimes with your adversary, right? But you've got to do it in a way where you can still work together. Like, that's the business we're in. Adversaries, you can get along with your adversaries. You don't have to agree. In fact, it's better when you don't agree. If everybody agreed, it would be, I think it would be less fruitful. I think the discussions are less fruitful when everyone agrees. I like when that thing comes out of left field and it makes you think for a second. Make each other think, but don't Don't be disagreeable about it. Ooh. Curious Media doesn't want to be on camera. Why? Well, they're local writers. TV isn't for everybody. It's not for everybody. We'll see if they come around. Because I'd love to get some local reporters on because they are knee deep in this. They know everyone, and they're doing great work. A couple of the outfits, I think there's the Courier and the Mountain Eagle. That's the one thing about journalism. The closer you are, the more local you are. I think the better they know the story because you have the vibe of the community. Like you've got to be embedded with that community. When I cover a story, like if I can get there, the story becomes so much different to me than covering it from afar. You can cover it from afar. I cover trials, most of them from afar, but once in a while, like when I went down to the Low Country for Murdoch, you just get a different feel. Go up to Massachusetts for Karen Reed, you get a different feel for what's happening from being there on the ground. And then these folks live there. Have lived there for years and years and years. They know the politics. They know the vibe of the community. So really interested in getting as many of them as possible on the air. So we're going to keep trying. Thank you, Bonita. B. Bruno with the super sticker. Thank you. B. Bruno, 13. Indeed. Love wins. Where are all the super chats taking place? Here or on the Court TV, YouTube? I think I don't know if both come. I'm still not sure on how that's working. I don't know where they're coming from. What I have set up is all the comments from YouTube, X, Twitch, and Facebook come to one place for me. So I think that's where the super chats are. I'm not sure. Love wins, but love does win. Love always wins. All right. I'm going quicker and quicker. Carol Griffin. Thank you. The big C, Carol. Thanks for joining us today on the live stream. I'm due for an early morning one at some point, but tomorrow, 12:30, we've got the Tangent podcast with my boys, Al and Jonesy. We're all in a good mood because we're all Mets fans. All right, Allie B from Tennessee. I'm late. Darn it. I have to rewind and watch my own. And hi, Vinny, by the way. Allie B from Tennessee. Thank you. Yes, please be kind and rewind. Remember when you had to rewind before you return the videos? Good idea. Rhombohedral. Hold up signs with the words. Yes. Yes. That's what we'll do. I'll start creating those. Weekends I do little things to try to make the stream better and better. I think last weekend I was making songs. Rachel, new member. Great to see you, Rachel. Thank you for joining. SCR, YouTube member over at Court TV. You're getting all the perks now. Getting all the problems. Nurse Valentine. Vinny, I never forget to hug my kids. Thank you, Nursey. That is awesome. And by the way, folks, even if you don't have kids, when I say hug the kids, obviously if you have kids, it's taken in the literal sense. If you don't have children, or if your children are all grown and they're in other places, it's like keep an eye out. You're out in public or you see or hear something. Always pay attention to the kids just to make sure they're okay wherever they are. You're at the mall, there's a kid by themselves. Well, you don't have to go right up to them, but keep an eye on them and say, hey, let's see, is mom and dad anywhere around? You know what I mean? And when I say hug, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. But also for those of us who have kids, there's the literal part of it. Thank you, nurse. All right. Kathy Guidry, was it 100% verified that sheriff said kidnapped? What if deputy misunderstood him? Yeah, it's possible because that's why hearsay is not permitted, right? Like he could be paraphrasing it. He could be paraphrasing it. It's like the game. We know the game of telephone. Things change. Someone says something to someone, then that person says something to someone else. It's hearsay, and sometimes it changes just a little bit. Just a little bit. So it might not have been kidnapped. Could have been taken. It could have been something completely different. But I base my analysis on what I hear in the courtroom and take it as far as I can. But Kathy, that is absolutely on the table. Absolutely. Because we saw it in the Soto case, how things changed drastically once we actually saw and heard the interviews. Grateful Glow 11111. You always have the best deets on the cases. Thanks, V. Thank you, Grateful. Did I catch up? I am caught up. I caught up. Amazing. I am all caught up just in time because I got to get ready for my show tonight. 865 Picker, being as those cameras were placed in chambers due to a lawsuit. Oh, no, it wasn't a lawsuit. I mean, it was beyond the lawsuit. There was a criminal case. Involved. I doubt seriously has anything to do with the lawsuit since he knew the cameras were there. That makes sense, 865 Picker, right? Like, if it's there because of that controversy, would it be the controversy that makes him do something on camera, right? That makes no sense. So I think that's great analysis, 865. Great analysis, 865. All right. Sergio B, I still have a Sony Betamax machine with lots of cassettes. Still works good, but it's mono sound. I don't have a Sony Betamax, but I've got a cassette deck over here. I've got a VHS, DVD. I've got a Super 8 film projector. So I'm with you. All right. Going to wrap things up. 8 o'clock tonight. 8 o'clock tonight. Court TV, me, closing arguments, 8 to 9. We'll be talking about this. We'll also be talking about the amazing trial on Court TV. Amazing trial. It's like a family feud and soap opera all in one. Then at 9 o'clock tonight, we go Diddy. We're diving back into Diddy tonight on Vinnie Politan Investigates. That's tonight. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel, Vinnie Politan 1, and to Court TV's channel. And over at Court TV, you also have the opportunity to become a member and get more perks and more content. So that's over there. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And we're going to do one last thing. I mentioned it earlier that I am type 1 diabetic, and my blood sugar was starting to dive at the beginning of all of this, and I took a double shot, okay? A double shot of glucose. With that in mind, it's that time of the program where you get to guess what my blood sugar is right here, right now, at this particular moment. Okay? So
Here's a type 1. He's type 1. His pancreas is on fruits. He has diabetes.
Carol Sue, you're close.
Juvenile diabetes. And so it's time to get.
whoa!
Is more or less. What's his blood sugar? What's Vinny's blood sugar?
Wow, the quickest yet, Laura
On the
Wagner.
70, he gets life's head. Under 60, all the alarms start ringing. Over 180, he starts to get lethargic. But when it's 90, Vinny, eyes are
I can't believe you
singing.
got that quick.
And so it's time to guess. Is it more or less? What's his blood sugar? What's Vinny's blood sugar?
By the way, I love this song.
But take a guess. Yes, take a guess. Let's guess. Vinny's blood sugar now.
Laura Wagner, congratulations. That was the quickest yet. Thank you so much. Von Decay, YouTube member. That's it, folks. Have a great night. I'll see you tonight, 8 o'clock on Court TV. In the meantime, please don't forget to hug the kids.
Get ready, get set, let's go.
True crime, streaming live, worldwide. It's Vinny Live. It's true crime, streaming live, worldwide. It's Vinny Live. Get ready. for Vinnie live.